Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This video is for all of my Leo, Sun, Moon, and Risings, and we are going to dig into your September horoscope. And let me tell you, Leos, I've got a lot of information for you. There's a lot going on in the month of September, so this video will be a bit lengthy. So grab your snack, grab a drink, or save this and listen to me on your morning commute or as you're driving to work in the morning or anytime. All right. So thank you for joining. I am your astrology coach, and I am here to teach you about the transits that are coming up, how to work with that energy, because when we know better, we do better, right? Sometimes we have some difficult transits and sometimes we have some happy transits. So if we know how to work with that energy, we can really learn to manipulate the energy to get things that we want. So Leos, welcome. This is for Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you are listening for your sun sign today, that would mean that you were born when the sun was in the sign of Leo. So that is what most people follow, and it is pretty consistent for those of you that are over the age of 40. So basically, your sun sign is the character that you play in this world. All right. And you've got your rising sign. So your rising sign is going to correlate with your natal chart. So I always say, make sure you have your natal chart ready for these sessions, because you certainly want to see your natal planets are going to be different than the planets I'm going to show you today. But if you have any in these specific placements, it could mean a little different for you. So basically what I'm going through is the whole collective astrology for Leo suns. So I'm going to give you a few different scenarios, because when I talk about the houses, so third house, for example, can be your siblings. It can be your neighborhood. It can also be media and communication. So I will give you 3 different options, and then throughout the month of September, you will see how it plays out for you. But again, this is just to tell you what energies are coming and how you might work with them. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you back here again. So make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, because I do put out videos every week. So I've just started. I'm an astrologer that's just gotten started, so I really appreciate your support. Where have I learned? I've been learning astrology for the last 5 or 6 years. Some of my teachers have been Ren Butler. I took a course with him on archetypal astrology. I've taken courses with Lori Lothian. And I've also taken the 2-year courses for Nightlight Astrology with Adam Ellenbaugh. So that is my background. I use whole signs, whole sign house system, tropical zodiac. So as I said before, grab your natal chart. If you don't have your natal chart, I will link a free video down in my notes. It's about 5 minutes, and it shows you how you can access and print your natal chart. And I do really recommend that you bring it to every session that we have. So, all right, Leos, let's dig down into your chart and get started. All right, Leo, so I brought your chart up. So we have a few transits that are happening on September 1st, and then we kind of have a quiet week, and then we have a lot of things popping up around September 10th. So as you can see, I put your chart up. This is a Leo rising chart, and on September 1st, our first transit, we have Mercury in your 2nd house, sextiling Mars in your 12th house. So this is going to create a supportive, practical link between your own personal finances and your subconscious of the 12th house. The 12th house is all about hidden instincts or behind the scenes work. So we've got Mercury's sharp analytical placement in Virgo, which is going to help you map out some income strategies based on any intuitive hits. So be aware of your dreams, quiet reflection from Mars in the 12th house. And you can actually turn your unseen, hidden, private work into some tangible assets here. So Mars in the 12th likes to work out of the spotlight, right? The 12th house is all about what's hidden. So you're going to be thinking, you're going to be researching, you might even be involved in some solo projects or even institutional work or therapy. So this sextile is going to allow this private energy to really support your earning power or financial stability. So Mars in Cancer in the 12th house, and I've talked about this last month. He's not so happy here because Cancer is very nurturing. Mars, not so much. Mars just wants to do. So he's almost been a little sickly in the 12th house. So Mars here can sometimes act on some hidden anxieties that you may have. However, we have Mercury very grounded in Virgo in the second house, which is going to help give you the mental clarity to analyze those subconscious urges before they impact your wallet. So Mars also rules your fourth house of home, family, and your ninth house of your higher learning, travel. So this is going to help you, again, quietly align family matters or long-term educational plans with your immediate budget. So we know Mars, it hasn't been great for him in the 12th house, but Mercury's really going to help support him. And that's going to be a pretty good transit or flow. Also on the 1st, we also have a Mars squaring Saturn. So because the square activates a mutual reception, Saturn is in its fall in Aries and Mars is in its fall in Cancer. So both planets are operating in uncomfortable territory. So this may force you to confront some deep-seated frustration to help build some resilience. So with Saturn in your ninth house, he's going to demand discipline around higher education, publishing, or any long distance foreign travel plans. Whereas Mars in the 12th carries an underlying emotional fatigue or maybe even an indirect anger, right? Are you just feeling like, while this transit is happening? So this square can feel like pushing hard toward a big future goal while you feel like something keeps putting the brakes on you, right? You just want to move forward and something keeps stopping you. So when I say that feeling, that's probably what you're feeling around the 1st of September or even before the 1st of September. So feeling blocked by institutions, maybe if you're going off to college, someone's going off to college and there's a lot of like red tape, right? We've all been through this, like, give me my certification already, or, take my transcripts. What's going on? What's the holdup? Even dealing with legal matters or authority figures. Those are ninth house Saturn themes. So this can trigger, hidden anger or even like self-sabotage. You feel like you're not doing enough. So instead of letting frustration fester in secret, Saturn is going to demand that you develop some structured, patient, and mature strategies to deal with these setbacks, okay? Don't be a hothead. So we've got Saturn, who rules the 6th and the 7th house. So this is going to bring weight to your duties or boundaries into your daily work and your health routines, even one-on-one partnerships. And then we have Mars that rules the 4th and the 9th house. So this is a direct emotional energy into home, family roots, and your overall worldview. So daily obligations or relationships may conflict with private family matters or even your personal freedom to expand your horizons. So Mars in the 12th is going to want you to act on feelings. While you have Saturn here in Aries, just wants immediate results. But again, we're talking about hitting this wall. You're hitting wall after wall. So just slow down, take a minute, gather your tools. Saturn is going to require strategy, not brute force. So you've got this push and pull between Mars and Saturn. So use Saturn's ninth house discipline to study, plan, organize behind the scenes. And this will help give Mars's passive energy an outline to follow. All right. So that's all happening on the 1st of September. And then we don't really have anything major happening until we get to the 10th. So we do have some planets shifting signs here. Also coming up for the month, we do have a new moon and a full moon coming up. So, but first thing we're going to talk about on the 10th is we have Venus entering Scorpio. So unfortunately, Venus is in her detriment here, right? Venus is all about peace and harmony. And when we think about her being in Scorpio, that's a dark house, all right? So she takes on a bit of a dark quality. So her typical soft, compromise seeking energy is forced to deal with Scorpio's intense, protective, investigative nature. So instead of light surface harmony, Venus here is seeking deep emotional loyalty, truth, intimacy, and your private sanctuary. So some key themes here of Venus going through your fourth house, Scorpio. You may feel driven to redecorate or overhaul your living space. Rather than soft pastels, Scorpio energy is going to favor rich, moodier aesthetics, privacy, creating a space that feels like a secure, cozy fortress. And when I think about this, right, I know it's still a little early, it's September, but I'm thinking decorating for Halloween. Like, are you into haunted houses, or you're going to have more of like that deep burgundy, dark color aesthetic piece going on? Venus also brings a desire for harmony to family and relationships. But Scorpio demands honesty first. So it's like a sharp flare here. So any family secrets or unspoken tensions or past financial property matters, this is connecting back to Venus as your ruler of your third and your 10th houses. So this can come to the surface to be genuinely healed rather than swept under the rug. So these things may come to surface so that we can fix them and heal them. So as a public-facing Leo rising, the fourth house represents where you retreat to recharge your battery. So Venus here makes spending quiet time at home with trusted loved ones or in complete solitude feel deeply restoring and luxurious. I just picture you, Leos, like snuggled up on a red velvet couch with the lights dimmed, some candles. Like that's the aesthetic we're looking at. So here's some house rulership connections. So the third house is ruled by Libra. So communication with siblings, neighbors, or local connections can become more emotionally grounded. The 10th house is ruled, it's Taurus for you. So your public career and reputation are directly fueled by how safe and secure you feel behind closed doors. So settling things at home opens up your energy for professional growth. Also happening on the 10th, Mercury is entering the sign of Libra. So unlike Venus in her fall, we have Mercury in its domicile ruler sign. So air sign Libra allows Mercury's analytical nature to express itself through charm, fairness, and balanced thinking. So during this transit, your words are going to carry a lot of grace. It becomes much easier to mediate disputes or draft important emails or even negotiate agreements with siblings, neighbors, or local community members. So Libra seeks symmetry and balance, right? Your thought process is going to weigh both sides of every situation. While this is great for fairness, watch out for overthinking or decision paralysis when trying to keep everyone happy. Trust me, I am a Libra sun, and all the time I'm like, my life is a chess game. I'm always thinking if I move one piece, what's going to happen? So that is very Mercury and Libra thinking. So expect an influx of short trips, some active errands, writing projects, or more casual daily conversation. So your mind is going to be very curious here, cooperative, and eager to absorb new ideas or skills. So let's see. Your second house is Virgo. So financial ideas and budget planning move smoothly into practical negotiations, local commerce, and contract signing. And I bring this up because we're talking about Mercury. So Mercury is also ruling your second and your 11th house. So these houses will be impacted as well. So social network, group collaborations, long-term goals are just going to be an easy flow for you during this transit. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't usually bring up, but let's talk about retrograde. So also on the 10th, Uranus goes retrograde. So since Uranus officially entered Gemini early in 2026, it's been rapidly electrifying your 11th house of alliances, your social media audiences, or even your future dreams. So when Uranus stations retrograde on September 10th, that electric pace is going to slow down, asking you to integrate and review. Anytime a planet goes retrograde, it really is, instead of those outside influences, it's calling you to look within, look inside. So instead of sudden new acquaintances or unexpected group drama, the retrograde is going to make you look inward. So you will find yourself looking at who truly aligns with your values and yourself, and maybe even seeing where you've been compromising your individuality just to fit into a group. Now, the 11th house also rules your hopes and wishes. So if you recently pivoted toward some long-term ambitions or some tech or online projects, this retrograde is going to give you the space to refine a master plan and help you come up with some new ideas. So also then, rather than rebelling outwardly against group expectations, you're figuring out what personal freedom means within your community. And any outdated social obligations or group dynamics that drain you will become clear to you. So as the traditional ruler of your 7th house of Aquarius, Uranus retrograde is going to link your one-on-one partnerships as well. So your romantic or your business partnerships to your broader network. So you might review how key partnerships impact your social standing or even your public aspirations. Now, another exciting thing we have happening on the 10th is a new moon in Virgo. Remember, those new moons, this is a time to vision board, create, plant the seeds for what you want. Now, this is extra exciting for you Leos, because Virgo is in your 2nd house, the 2nd house of self-worth, 2nd house of money. So this is a good time to manifest anything around those themes. So this lunation serves as your annual blank slate for money matters. It's the ideal time to launch new income streams, adjust your budget, set saving goals, or price your services accurately if you have your own business. So Virgo energy thrives on decluttering and organization. So you may even feel called to take a look at your physical possessions, refine your spending habits, or eliminate unnecessary subscription costs and financial waste. Where is your money going? This is a good time to look and review. Now, the 2nd house isn't just about money. It also governs how you value yourself. So this new moon is asking you to move away from seeking that external validation, which is a classic Leo sign, and instead ground your self-worth in skills, personal competence, self-sufficiency. And because Mercury also rules your 11th house of Gemini, this financial reset directly ties into your social networks, your online presence, or collaborative group goals. So investments made now can fuel your bigger vision down the line. So this is a really good time to invest in things. You have Mercury making things clear for you. right? You're analytical. He's going to help you make some good decisions. So definitely mark September 10th on your calendar, week before, week after. Now, remember, this is not going to be immediate money. We are talking about a full moon cycle. So right now, the new moon is in Virgo. So this will not come to a culmination until we get to that full moon in Virgo. So it is a cycle. It's not an overnight thing. All right. You know what? I just realized I was not spinning my wheel here, but I'm going to spin us around to the 12th because that is our next transit. So we have Pluto in the 7th house, excuse me, of Aquarius trining Mercury in the 2nd. Let me grab my water here. All right, so let's talk about this transit here. So for a Leo rising, this trine between Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, your 7th house, and Mercury in Virgo, your 2nd house, is going to bring, it's going to really bridge between your committed partnerships and your personal finances we were just talking about. So Pluto rules transformation, power, while Mercury rules communication, intellect, and practical strategy. So we're talking about a trine, and a trine is a harmonious, supportive aspect. So this connection is going to allow you to unlock hidden financial or personal value through relationship insights without the usual friction that you may encounter. So some key themes of this: Pluto retrograde. Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius in your 7th house, and it's trining Mercury in the sign of Libra. So this is going to create a highly persuasive channel between those deep relational intelligences and your everyday communication. So unlike the tension of a square, an air element, this trine allows insights to flow effortlessly. So you're able to really articulate in ways that feel balanced and deeply convincing. So because Pluto is retrograde in the 7th house, we're really looking at some psychological dynamics or unspoken contracts or deep commitments that may be involved in your one-on-one relationships. Now, with Mercury in the 3rd house of Libra, it's going to help give you the words, the tone, and the tact needed to discuss these things calmly. So how this might impact you: this is a great transit for mediator style conversations or couples therapy or high stakes business negotiations. You can talk through heavy power dynamics without escalating into conflict because of your communication style here. Now, the 3rd house also governs writing, speaking, teaching, and your daily interactions. So Pluto here is going to give your words gravitational weight, while Mercury in Libra presents those ideals with charm and balance. So if you are someone that speaks, writes, or pitches ideas, or you create content, your audience or key partners will find your message exceptionally compelling and perceptive. Pluto also rules deep restructurings, and its retrograde motion is going to favor past commitments. So Mercury in Libra excels at balancing the scales and finding some mutually beneficial terms. So this puts you in a prime position to review, revise contracts, legal agreements. You can spot the fine print here and understand the other party's hidden motives. This will help you draft an agreement that honors both sides fairly. Now, Mercury rules the 2nd house of income and your 11th house of networks. So this mental clarity here is going to really benefit your financial strategy and your group goals. A deep conversation with a partner or a long-term collaborator can also unlock things for you. It can help bring in a wider audience for you. And our next transit is on the 15th. We have a square happening between Venus and Pluto. So this is going to be a little bit of a heavy feel. Venus is in your fourth house, seeking emotional safety, deep control over your home and your environment. Pluto retrograde in your seventh house is digging up some of these power struggles or boundary issues that we have been talking about. So you may feel like a partner's demands or their baggage or their mood is starting to invade your personal safe space. So Scorpio and Aquarius are both fixed signs. Neither of them wants to yield. Venus in Scorpio can trigger feelings of suspicion, jealousy, or even a need to retreat into a protective shell. While Pluto in Aquarius could uncover some detachment or some power imbalances. So this square forces you to confront fears of betrayal or emotional dependency rather than sweeping them under the rug. So, this is a transit, right? And what I'm talking about with you today, yes, it could be reality, and we could be uncovering some things in your relationship, or these could just be feelings. So that's why I think it's important to know about this transit and don't jump to conclusions, because you're going to have this feeling of Venus in Scorpio. She is jealous and she is suspicious. So you may have these feelings. That doesn't mean that your partner is cheating on you or anything's going on with your partner. It's just giving you those feelings and those emotions. Okay, so I want you to know, because when we know better, we do better and we don't just jump to conclusions. So Venus also rules your 10th house of career and reputation, which is Taurus, and your third house of your mind and your contracts. So a square to Pluto in the house of legal binding agreements. This means that the tension could spill over into real estate discussions or home investments or how a partner's financial situation impacts your professional trajectory, right? We do have Pluto in your seventh house, so it is going to really make you look at your relationships, and it can often signify a rebirth. So, like I said, I just want you to know about this energy so that you can work with it. Pluto will be in your seventh house for a long time. It doesn't mean that you will get divorced or you will get separated. This could just be something that transforms your relationships and could even make it stronger. So here's how we're going to work with this energy. Avoid power struggles. Avoid passive aggressive behavior, because that will backfire under Pluto. Stand firm in your fourth house boundaries of family without trying to force or control the outcome. Okay, stay away from ultimatums. Don't tell someone something or hold someone to standards that you are not going to keep. I think of parenting styles when, parents will tell kids, if you don't behave at school, then we're not going to Disney. All right. So then you get a call from the principal that day. Are you really going to cancel your trip to Disney? Probably not. So don't say things that you don't want to hold yourself to. So use this energy for psychological purging. This is an opportunity to heal those long-standing relational patterns, dismantle that codependency, and reshape your home and your life around emotional security rather than control. So that brings us to Chiron on the 17th. And have you seen my cute little short animated video on Chiron? It's really short. It's an animated video, and it talks about Chiron in each house. So when you have your natal chart, you really want to look and see where Chiron is, because this is kind of your destiny, your karmic wound that you were born, and where the universe is wanting you to heal. So for the collective, for the world of Leo risings, your Chiron leaves Taurus and is entering Aries. So this is going to clear things up. So it's going to move the core thematic focus of your wounded healer journey from public career insecurities to deep shifts around your own personal convictions. So it's leaving your 10th house of Taurus. And for the past few years, Chiron in the 10th house may have highlighted some vulnerabilities in your career. Around your public standing or your professional reputation, or maybe even your own fear of failure. So you likely have faced moments of feeling unrecognized. Have you ever had imposter syndrome or feeling like you've had to carry an unfair burden in your career? I'm not even a Leo rising, and I feel that way too. But as Chiron exits, you are integrating those hard-earned lessons you leave behind and need to constantly prove your worth in the public eye. So you're just going to build more resiliency and your own professional self-authority. So in the 9th house, Chiron uncovers vulnerabilities surrounding your own personal philosophies or your spiritual beliefs, your higher education, or even your freedom to explore. You might confront an underlying fear of being wrong or uneducated or doubting your own right to teach, publish, or lead with conviction. So Aries is the sign of the self. And while the 9th house is the realm of wisdom and truth, Chiron here is asking, do you trust your own lived experience or do you wait for external validation? Something to consider. As you confront and heal these doubts, Chiron in the 9th is going to transform you into a powerful mentor, writer, or guide. So your willingness to admit that you don't know while still courageously sharing your unique lived truth becomes the very thing that inspires and teaches others. So it's going to really shift the focus from, am I successful enough in the eyes of the world, to, am I brave enough to speak my ultimate truth and live by my own code? So then on the 21st, we have Mercury in your 3rd house, Libra, sextiling Jupiter in your 1st house, Leo. So how's it been with Jupiter going through your 1st house? So here Jupiter radiates optimism, authority, and personal growth. And we have this harmonious sextile to Mercury in the 3rd house of the mind and communication. This is going to act as a green light to help you express your big ideas and make powerful connections. While Mercury rules your 2nd house of finances and your 11th house of your audience, networks, social groups, Mercury governs your money and community. So this confident communication directly boosts your earning potential and connects you with influential groups or followers who are eager to support your own personal growth. So that's that Jupiter, that Santa Claus in your 1st house. Someone is watching out for you, okay? And then on the 22nd, the sun enters Libra, which is highlighting your 5th house. I love talking about the 5th house because it's the best house ever. It is your house of romance, creativity, and children. So with the sun here, it's just going to be highlighted for you. So I really think this will be bringing joy to your life. It will help you find things that help bring joy. Even if it's your children, you'll be having good relationships with your children. They may be highlighted with doing important, special things, and you will be proud of them. So it's just going to be a really great transit. And the sun is here in your 5th house from September 22nd through October 22nd. So You've got a good month ahead of enjoying life, enjoying people, enjoying romance. So enjoy that transit. Then on the 26th, we've got a full moon. All right, can you see this full moon here? So for a Leo rising, the full moon in Aries is in your ninth house. It brings a culmination to a major chapter that involves your own personal convictions, your higher learning. It can also be foreign travel or public message. So this full moon occurs in a fire sign, and it's going to form a supportive trine to your first house of Leo, giving you more of a powerful surge of confidence. Like you need more of that, right? Any Leos I know, they have a lot of confidence. So this is just going to give you more clarity, more confidence, and courage here. So key themes of the ninth house Aries full moon. Let's see what we've got going on here. So a full moon is going to bring things into full view within your Aries house. So it's really going to demand courage and authenticity. So if you have any projects related to publishing, teaching, broadcasting, or higher education, it's going to hit a major milestone. This is going to be your culmination, your release point. So if you've been hesitant to share your voice, this lunation is going to help you broadcast it with authority. All right, now the ninth house also governs travel, foreign connections, publishing contracts, and legal affairs. So decisions around long distance trip or international travel or legal matters are going to again reach a final turning point. So you might expect decisive news or a final resolution that frees up your momentum here if you've had anything tied up in legal matters. Let's see. Also, sitting in the house where Chiron is currently transiting, this full moon highlights where you may have felt unqualified, unheard, or where you've had to really defend your ideas. So you're going to be able to shed the need for your external validation to justify your knowledge. So it's really going to mark a moment of stepping into your own authority as a mentor, a writer, or a thought leader. So remember, a full moon is a culmination. So if you go back to when this new moon was, whatever you manifested is going to come to fruition. That's why I always say manifested a new moon, write it down, and then when that full moon comes, hopefully your wishes will all come true. So now Mars rules Aries, your ninth house, and Scorpio, your fourth house. So while currently navigating your 12th house in Cancer. So again, the ability to speak up and launch big ideas. It's going to be fueled by behind the scenes emotional processing, quiet research, or any hidden work that you've done on your own. Okay, so how this connects with everything we've talked about through the month of September. So this full moon, again, as I said, is acting as the grand climax for the month. So we had Mercury sextiling Jupiter, giving you the brilliant ideas, the charismatic communication. And the Aries full moon is going to provide that energy, that emotional courage to finally publish, launch, or get those ideas out. All right, then on the 27th, we have Mars entering Leo, your first house. So for Leo rising, Mars entering your first house is going to unleash a surge of energy, ambition, drive, some physical vitality into your core identity. You will be feeling a little more energy in yourself. So maybe start walking, start jogging, because you're going to have to figure out what to do with this energy so it doesn't just build up. So think about it. Mars is leaving your 12th house of Cancer, right? So it's been murky waters, passive, emotionally draining with your 12th house in Cancer, where Mars was in its fall. So now Mars moving into your first house, he's like waking up. He's stepping out of the shadows and he's just going to be like, okay, let's live again, people. So some key themes here is Mars is going to bring some fire, some speed and action. And like I said, the first house governs your body, your personal brand, your immediate presence. So you can expect higher energy surges, right? You'll have the stamina to tackle projects and launch initiatives. You can step effortlessly into a leadership role and you're not asking for permission, you're just getting it. So in the 12th house, Mars often felt like a hidden frustration, anxiety, or behind the scenes emotional. So now he's going to just be more assertive, and you will find you'll be able to clearly articulate what you want. You're going to stand up for yourself, right? Mars in the first can make you somewhat headstrong, intense, or quick to react if you're feeling blocked. So think about this piece here, right? When we know better, we do better. So you're not going to tolerate being controlled or ignored, but I don't want you to be hot-headed either. So watch out for coming across as overly defensive, aggressive, especially in those one-on-one relationships, as Mars is directly opposing your 7th house of partnerships. All right. Very soon, coming up early October, you're going to have that Mars opposing Pluto. So be sure you come back when I talk about what's happening in October. So we know Mars rules the 4th house and the 9th house. So your personal actions are now going to be channeled into your home projects or your big picture philosophies, higher level learning, or even foreign travel. All right, so those are some things to look at and think about. And then we are going to end the month with Mercury entering Scorpio, and that happens on the 30th. All right, so let's see. Mercury is in the 4th house of Scorpio. So remember, Mercury is the mind, the information gatherer, while Scorpio is deep, probing, and investigative. So you're going to be drawn to some private research, possibly some dark subjects, maybe even uncovering some family history, sorting out property documents, or having some serious heart-to-heart discussions behind closed doors. So this is a good time to get to the root of any domestic issues. Now, you may also feel guarded with your communication here as well. Now, Scorpio is private and protective, and the 4th house is your safe haven away from the public eye. Remember, I talked about that earlier in the month. So you may become far more selective about who you let into your private space, who you are spending time with, who you share your business with. So you're processing thoughts internally before speaking, making your words measured, quiet, and deliberate. So the 4th house also rules past emotional foundations, ancestral roots, and childhood patterns. So this can also be a prime window for therapy, for journaling, or working through some of those underlying emotional patterns. You may be mentally dissecting past karmic cycles to understand how they shape your current sense of security. Mercury rules the 2nd house of finances and your 11th house of long-term goals. So this shift also links your income strategies and your long-term ambitions back to your home base. So you may even draft real estate budgets or negotiate home-based business ideas or work on income projects quietly from your home office. All right, so that is what we have going on in September. As I said, I hope you will join me back here each week, because even though I put out this whole month horoscope, sometimes we forget, right? So come on back here and I will still tell you about what's to come each week. Sometimes I uncover new things too that I totally missed in this monthly horoscope. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you always know when I put out new videos. I appreciate you so much. Losing my voice now, but thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you back here again. All right, take care, everybody.